The ocean covers 70% of the Earth's surface. It contains about 1.35 billion cubic kilometers of water, which is about 97% of all the water on Earth. Scientists estimate that about 1 million species of animals live in the ocean, but most of them, 95%, are invertebrates, animals that don't have a backbone, such as jellyfish and shrimp. Some of the smallest animals on Earth can be found in the ocean. Sea animals like zooplankton are so small you can see them only with a microscope. Big fish swim through these waters too, such as great white sharks, manta rays, and ocean sunfish. The largest animal ever to live on Earth is an ocean mammal called the blue whale. It's as long as 2 school buses. Dolphins, porpoises, and sea lions are also ocean-dwelling mammals. The ocean teems with plant life. Most are tiny algae called phytoplankton, and these microscopic plants have a big job. Through photosynthesis, they produce about half of the oxygen that humans and other land-dwelling creatures breathe. Bigger algae, like seaweed and kelp, also grow in the ocean and provide food and shelter for marine animals. Temperature, ocean depth, and distance from the shore determine the types of plants and animals living in an area of the ocean. These regions are called habitats. Coral reefs are one type of habitat. When tiny animals called polyps die, their skeletons harden so other polyps can live on top of them. Then these polyps die and more move in. After thousands of years, this becomes a complex structure called a coral reef that provides food and shelter for many kinds of ocean animals. In fact, coral reefs have been called the rainforests of the sea because of the wide variety of animals found there. Animals such as seahorses, clownfish, and sea turtles all live on coral reefs. And corals themselves are animals. They grab food from the water using tiny tentacle-like arms. Kelp forests, found along the coastlines of the Pacific and Antarctic Oceans, also provide food and shelter for marine life. These large brown rubbery plants have hollow globe-shaped growths on the leaves called phonatocysts, I'm not sure, that help the plants rise to the surface. Sea lions, whales, shorebirds, and other ocean animals make meals of the small critters that hide in the leaves. Other ocean habitats aren't actually in the ocean, such as estuaries. Estuaries are areas where rivers and oceans meet and have a mix of saltwater and freshwater. Oysters, crabs, and many birds like great herons and egrets live in estuaries. The ocean has 5 major life zones, each with organisms uniquely adapted to their specific marine ecosystem. The Epipelagic Zone is the sunlit upper layer of the ocean. It reaches from the surface to about 200 meters deep. The Epipelagic Zone is also known as the photic or euphotic zone and can exist in lakes as well as the ocean. The sunlight in the Epipelagic Zone allows photosynthesis to occur. Photosynthesis is the process by which some organisms convert sunlight and carbon dioxide into energy and oxygen. In the ocean, photosynthesis takes place in plants and algae. Plants such as seagrass are similar to land plants. They have roots, stems, and leaves. Algae is a type of aquatic organism that can photosynthesize sunlight. Large algae, such as kelp, are called seaweed. Phytoplankton also live in the Epipelagic Zone. Phytoplankton are microscopic organisms that include plants, algae, and bacteria. They are only visible when billions of them form algal blooms, I'm not sure, and appear as green or blue splotches in the ocean. Phytoplankton are a basis of the ocean food web. Through photosynthesis, phytoplankton are responsible for almost half the oxygen released into the Earth's atmosphere. Animals such as krill, a type of shrimp, fish, and microscopic organisms called zooplankton all eat phytoplankton. In turn, these animals are eaten by whales, bigger fish, ocean birds, and human beings. The next zone down, stretching to about 1,000 meters deep, is the Mesopelagic Zone. This zone is also known as the Twilight Zone, because the light there is very dim. The lack of sunlight means there are no plants in the Mesopelagic Zone, but large fish and whales dive there to hunt prey. Fish in this zone are small and luminous. One of the most common is the lanternfish, which has organs along its side that produce light. Sometimes animals from the Mesopelagic Zone, such as sperm whales and squid, dive into the Bathypelagic Zone, which reaches about 4,000 meters deep. The Bathypelagic Zone is also known as the Midnight Zone because no light reaches it. Animals that live in the Bathypelagic Zone are small, but they often have huge mouths, sharp teeth, and expandable stomachs that let them eat any food that comes along. Most of this food comes from the remains of plants and animals drifting down from upper pelagic zones. Many bathypelagic animals do not have eyes because they are unneeded in the dark. Because the pressure is so great and it is so difficult to find nutrients, fish in the Bathypelagic Zone move slowly and have strong gills to extract oxygen from the water. The water at the bottom of the ocean, the Epipelagic Zone, is very salty and cold. At depths up to 6,000 meters. Wow. The pressure is very strong, 11,000 pounds per square inch. This makes it impossible for most animals to live. Animals in this zone have bizarre adaptations to cope with their ecosystem. Many fish have jaws that look unhinged. The jaws allow them to drag their open mouth along the seafloor to find food, such as mussels, shrimp, and microscopic organisms. Many of the animals in this zone, including squid and fish, are bioluminescent. Bioluminescent organisms produce light through chemical reactions in their bodies. A type of anglerfish, for example, has a glowing growth extended in front of its huge, toothy mouth. When smaller fish are attracted to the light, the anglerfish simply snaps its jaws to eat its prey. The deepest ocean zone, found in trenches and canyons, is called the Phytopelagic Zone. Few organisms live here. They include tiny isopods, a type of crustacean related to crabs and shrimp. Invertebrates, such as sponges and sea cucumbers, thrive in the abyssopelagic and hadopelagic zones. Like many sea stars and jellyfish, these animals are almost entirely dependent on falling parts of dead or decaying plants and animals, called marine detritus. Not all bottom dwellers, however, depend on marine detritus. In 1977, oceanographers discovered a community of creatures on the ocean floor that feed on bacteria around openings called hydrothermal vents. These vents discharge superheated water enriched with minerals from the Earth's interior. The minerals nourish unique bacteria, which in turn nourish creatures such as crabs, clams, and tube worms.